What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. Now, this is a video of Deontay Wilder fighting this guy, Dustin Nichols. Right? Now, this is a fight that I remember seeing not live, but remember seeing it on video. You can't find this fight. This is one of the fights you can't find. So this video right now is on this channel called Kingdom of Boxing. And he obviously archived it before they got rid of it. Now, what you're going to see is a grazing temple shot, okay, thrown by Dustin Nichols that caused Deontay to lose his balance and go backwards. The referee didn't call this a knockdown. He waved it off. We've seen it happen many times in boxing, that someone got touched, either their glove touched the canvas or the ropes held them up, and the ref waved it off as a slip. Now, you can't find this fight outside of Kingdom of Boxing's video archive. You can't find this fight. You can't find the Harold Sconius fight. There's several, like you can't find a lot of them because these are fights that he got hurt in, got dropped in, and just didn't look good in. So this is what you're about to see, and I'm going to explain why I'm even showing this video after we watch it. Let's get it. Look at this Andy Ruiz lookalike. He looks even worse than Andy. Boom. And the referee just calls this a slip. He waves it off as a slip. He got grazed with a temple shot. Check it in slow motion. The referee body is there. Boom. He got like boom. Yeah. You see the delayed reaction. He got hit with the temple shot. Then, all right. Look at Dustin Nichols' record. Now, the reason that I even showed that video was because Deontay Wilder fans, just like any other fanboys of fighters, but he's one of the people that had fanboys that will, oh, I don't remember that. I don't care what you don't remember. You can't tell me what my two eyes saw. One thing about Aries, I'm not going to make up anything. If I don't know something, I'll tell you, I don't know. Because I don't know everything. I'm not like all you perfect experts that know everything about everybody, every second of what happens in their life, what they eat for breakfast, when they have diarrhea, when they have earwax. I don't know what their favorite songs are, what movies they like. I could care less about any of that. I just watch boxing, man, and I give the boxing news based on what I see and what I understand. But one thing I'm not going to do is be full of shit and just give you a bunch of talk about nothing. Now, this fight was said to have never happened. This guy, Dustin Nichols, I don't know much about him, but I do remember seeing that fight. But when I saw it, like I said, it wasn't live on any TV network. It was video. And Deontay Wilder was more aggressive in those days than he is now. Now he just waits, laid back, waits, and he'll lose every single round with the anticipation that he's going to catch you with the right hand and knock you out. And see, my point is, he's been fighting that level of competition forever. And as I said, when Deontay Wilder was WBC champion, he was still fighting guys ranked in the 400s. Like literally, I posted a video last year, or maybe the year before, posting all of his fights and the records of his opponents. And you know what happens? What's so crazy? That has nothing to do with YouTube, right? But when you do that, put that search in now, it's very difficult to find anything with the opponent's records of Deontay Wilder. And you can find it with so many other fighters. But why is it that all of a sudden now, the same exact search I typed in, but it's in my archives, you can't find it? That's by design, man. That's, hey, we don't want people to have access to this. So my thing is, okay, because when you compare him to Anthony Joshua, it's always this whole, AJ's not the same. And so that's the difference. Wilder is the same. He never evolved. That's the point. Anthony Joshua, in my opinion, can outbox and beat still these other guys the same way he fought Usyk and the same way he fought Franklin. A person I feel like will give AJ problems, will give any of them guys problems, but a guy that will definitely, I feel like, will give him problems, and he's gonna have to know how to switch up things. Like, is a guy like Frank Sanchez, because Frank Sanchez can box. He has good hand speed, head movement, good footwork. He's a complete fighter, and he'll be able to give any of these guys problems. Okay, Wilder only beats Frank Sanchez if he can knock him out. He's not outboxing Frank Sanchez. Anthony Joshua will have problems with a guy like Frank Sanchez if he can't knock him out. If he can box, now, he's different. Usyk and Sanchez have different approaches, but they're both very solid boxers. If Anthony Joshua can fight him confidently, stay behind that stick, and understand what he's doing and what he's supposed to be doing. If Derrick James can instill that, and it's like we just trying to get you back to what you was doing, to add things back to your arsenal that you just stopped doing. Okay, we'll see. So, but these other guys, especially the guys that's tall, AJ don't have problems with those guys. He just doesn't have problems with those guys. He could have, in my opinion, got Pulev out of there a lot quicker than he did, but it's not like Pulev was there, doing damage to Anthony Joshua. AJ just took his time and fought him and boxed and laid back and waited. Okay. It's not like he was in there, I'm gonna lose rounds and like Wilder does, and then wait for the knockout. Now, I can't guarantee you anything about who will beat who. I'm not that invested in these people. It's the sport I'm invested in. But that's where my interest lies. It's not about defending these guys. So my thing is, when you compare the two, Anthony Joshua has all the tools that he needs. We've seen him fight more impressively in the past. Wilder's just been the same Wilder, man. It's the same Wilder. So my whole thing is, Anthony Joshua has every bit as much of a chance of knocking out Wilder as Wilder does with him. And see, Wilder, is everything with him is jab right hand or just the right hand. From the very first round, he's throwing his money shot. AJ can catch you and hurt you with multiple shots, and he can get you out of it as well. But the boxing, laid back and box approach, he basically, he fights himself in the ring. And I've been saying this for the longest. He fights himself, even in interviews when he talks. And, the things that he says, we all get that. But my whole thing about this, Wilder definitely beats AJ. AJ should retire. I'm hearing all of this stuff. It's like, okay, so here's the thing. I don't care about anybody's opinion. I didn't care about my opinion. My opinion is not being biased towards AJ. My opinion is based on what I see with these guys. These people are speaking from a fan base point of, I like Wilder better. And even for people that say I like AJ better, but I don't think he can beat Wilder, that's all good. But what I'm saying is, you guys, and what you're overlooking, the only elite fighter that Wilder has ever fought is Tyson Fury. And we see how that worked out for him. Say what you want, but guys like Luis Ortiz, who's never done nothing, The most thing you're famous for is getting knocked out by the same guy twice. I mean, what's the biggest thing that Luis Ortiz ever did in boxing that somebody might remember is knocking down Malik Scott several times? But who the hell is Malik Scott? So Luis Ortiz, not elite. Chris Arreola, not elite. And he is just like Luis Ortiz, an underachiever in boxing. Had potential, but just couldn't cut it. Never won a championship, and it always fell short, regardless to what. Bermane Stiverne, not elite. And those are the four biggest names on Wilder's resume. Okay? And the only elite fighter he lost to, and he looked bad against, but because he scored some knockdowns, they called it epic war. Nothing epic about it, man. It was more drama. People were like far more invested into all the drama, all the cheating allegations than they were the fight itself. I sit and watch those fights, and I'm not like, yo, this was a great fight. Nope. Hearn calls it a great fight. Even AJ, all these other people, great fight. They want to build it up. Well, I don't see what's great about getting dominated every single round and then only winning rounds that you scored knockdowns in. What was dominant? What was epic about that? No, it was drama there, yeah, but the fight itself, no. So basically, it's not about trying to change anybody's mind about who can beat who. That's never ever been my MO. And see, I don't have any type of agendas. What I'm bringing to the light is you're looking at a guy who fights the top guys versus a guy who fights nobodies. So he looks impressive getting knockouts to people against meatballs. And then even fighting the older versions. Like example, how people falsely accuse Floyd Mayweather of, oh, he only fights guys when they're too young or when they're too old. You guys realize when Dominic Breazeale fought against Anthony Joshua, he was undefeated and in his prime at that time? And was a lot more agile, quicker and everything. You realize the version that Wilder fought was an old, crusty, dusty, washed up, wear and tear, definitely showing in his performances. That you realize that that's the version that he got. You realize that Wilder only other mandatory, because Breazeale wasn't mandatory. How? What was Bermane Stiverne? How? For what? What did he do? It's another easy win. So my whole point, even in that, is when you look and say, well, they fought some of the same guys, yeah, but this was AJ on the come up. You understand? This was AJ on the come up. Still hadn't even reached 20 fights yet. 15 fights in, 14 fights in, or something like that when he fought Dominic Breazeale. So what I'm saying, when you look at the fact that Wilder was champion 5 years, and he already had a belt way before AJ did, and he never decided he wanted to unify, fight Charles Martin, fight Klitschko. No. Well, we're not going to put Wilder in there with the likes of a Vladimir Klitschko. Wilder's still a baby, 30 years old. He's a baby. Oh, he hasn't developed as much as he's going to yet. He never evolved, like I said. AJ was fighting Klitschko, for what, his 16th fight or something like that? Whatever. So there was no turning back and taking easy fights. Wilder did that. So my whole point is, all these people talking about AJ should retire and talking about how he can't beat Fury, he can't beat Wilder. Why are these fighters that you guys are saying is better than AJ so reluctant to get in the ring with them? Not only that, though, why should he retire? Because that's a quitter's mentality. Retire for what? Now, if AJ just can't find it in him to take his game to the next level, to absorb what he's being taught, and he's just fighting himself that much to where it's like, AJ, you just don't have it anymore, then that's something different. And it's still up to him to whether he wants to retire or not. But at the same time, yeah, if you just got to go in there and you're fighting yourself, but Are we going to sit here and act like we didn't see him just shut a guy out? Because I didn't see Franklin win any rounds. Nobody's saying Dillian White should retire, and Dillian White, in most people's minds, was gifted that win. And he struggled like hell with Jermaine Franklin. Huh? So where was all this maximum violence? Where was it against Jermaine Franklin? I'll say this again. The most that people can honestly say is, well, I don't like AJ's new style. It's boring. But the guy got in there, got the win. There's things I would like to see him do differently. Yeah, I'm a different breed. I'm not as laid back, okay? But I'm not gonna say what a guy should do based on what I think he can do. If he can't do these things, it's gonna show. And again, if he go in there and get the right ass whoopings, and it's just evident that he doesn't have it anymore, more than likely he will retire. Because it makes no sense to go in there and just get your face pounded in. But that's not what's happening to him. He just got outboxed by Usyk in 2 fights. He didn't go in there and get physically destroyed, took a battering, had to lay up in the hospital. That's not what happened. So what you just see, even with Wilder, see, I was told that never happened. And this is why when you type in searches that you used to type in and you could find these fights, and you can't find them anymore. So I say, salute the king of boxing for even holding on to that clip, because you can't find these clips. You can't. And you know what? For every time y'all run your mouth and try to, oh, I never seen that. I can care less what you saw, but as soon as I get my hands on something, I'm going to put it back up. I'm going to make sure I post it and watch you tuck your tail and run like y'all always do. Just like the whole costume situation. Y'all remember that? Wilder never said that. Oh, it was misconstrued. Yeah, y'all learned a new word. And from Wilder's boy, who was lying the whole time. And y'all just couldn't wait till you put that in a sentence. Oh, they misconstrue everything that Wilder says. Champ didn't say that. And the fact that y'all ain't calling him Champ. Call any other man. Talking like this, like somebody is your god. They're a deity to you. They're not human. They're above being human. You know who you are. And basically, at the end of the day, it's like he never said it. Aries sat right here in the same couch I'm sitting in right now and listen to him say, well, I had no legs right from the beginning. My outfit was too heavy. Wore my legs out. I was about 4 to 5 pounds. He never said that, Aries. You're making that up. Okay, jackass. So I didn't just hear him say that. And the only difference was when I did the video, I didn't play the audio. And it was at that moment when I said, yeah, you know what? I'm going to start playing the audio of what's going on. But see, a lot of this stuff, it comes down to copyrights and stuff. Like, they'll want to try to flag your video and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, whatever. I have nothing to gain out of making up lies about nothing. So when they said that, he never said it. That guy sat there and lied his ass off and spoke on Wilder's behalf and everything. I forget his damn name. I don't even care. That's how irrelevant he is. But at the end of the day, what happened? That video resurfaced, that audio. Yeah. And all the people, Aries, you're making that up. I never heard that. You just hate Wilder. Blah, 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 blah. And not one of them. Yeah, they checked in and listened and was like, oh, shit. He did say that. And you know what they did? They all went to hiding. So my whole thing is, we're not talking about a guy who's some elite level boxer. All right, what we're talking about is a guy who is highly overrated. He's done what he's been able to do with low-level competition versus a guy who was 2-time unified champion and was fighting the best fighters out there. And the same guy that you guys are praising was the reason that the fights never happened in the first place between them. The whole, you have 24 hours to sign or no fight, which was nonsense. Nobody does business that way. Okay, versus the zone offering you 120 million. 20 million to fight Brazil and 50 million you know, for to fight Anthony Joshua 2 times, both fights 50 million. And the excuse for not fighting AJ was what? Because they wouldn't tell us how much money AJ was making. So that people want to sweep under the rug as if it never happened. Well, the reality is, put all that aside and just look at the two fighters. Fact is, Deontay Wilder has never in his whole career beat an elite fighter. Fact. He could have unified or at least attempted to do it way before Anthony Joshua did, but he didn't. And it's a fact that Shelly Finkel stood there and called him a baby and said, we're not going to put him in there with the likes of a Vladimir Klitschko. So where Anthony Joshua took chances, took risks, and decided, nah, I'm going to go do this. Sometimes it's not the best thing for your career. But how dare a Deontay Wilder sit up and say, well, AJ got people fooled. All he takes is easy fights. Like, we're too dumb to just look at both of their resumes. And the fact is, AJ's a fight you never took, never wanted to take. And even if you want to do it now, it's only because you think you see weakness in AJ. So you're doing interviews telling people you'll knock him out in 2 or 3 rounds. Okay, well, let's see it. And as I stated in the last video, if Anthony Joshua don't get his shit together and he gets knocked out, so be it. Same way, if Wilder doesn't get his shit together and gets knocked out, so be it. And the thing is, you already know what Wilder's going to try to do. You already know what he has. That's it. That right hand. For AJ, again, he's with Derrick James. And my thing is, for any fighter, you want to see the best version of them. But regardless, the fight needs to happen. Neither one of these guys are new to this sport, and by now, they should have all bases covered. It's just as simple as that. So I'm not looking forward to the fight, crossing my fingers, hoping whoever wins. Now, who would I be pulling for is AJ. But am I sitting here guaranteeing you what he's going to do? Absolutely not. So anybody saying, I guarantee you this, you ain't guaranteeing me shit. That's your opinion. I don't care about that. That's not what any video I make is about. I can never guarantee you what another man is going to go in there and do. You guys, a lot of you sound like you're married to these guys, like they your husbands or their wives, basically like they your husbands or something. I guarantee you nothing. I don't care that much. But given the boxing news, when I see something, it's just like, for example, right? If somebody's look at a car and say, that's a 57 Chevy, and there's somebody who's aware that it's not, you have people that will argue that person down. That's a 57 Chevy. Then come to find out, no, it's not. That's a 61. Well, I thought, right, shut up. You thought wrong. Can we sit here and say exactly what's going to happen? No. We look at what's been going on and who's been doing what. What I'm saying to you guys, though, is the fact that AJ is having more of a boxing approach and you don't see that aggression like he used to show. Yeah, well, guess what? That's why people are saying what they're saying. But he just won his last fight. And they're acting like he didn't. And like I said, they always talk about the Ruiz loss, but they never talk about the rematch. So yeah, he corrected that wrong. Well, let's look at Wilder's rematch that he lost. Did he go back and correct that wrong? Did he right that wrong? No. And you know what? Why it looks even worse for him? AJ didn't make any excuses. He just took it. Better man won. Bounce back next time. Wilder made excuses about egg weights and unpadded gloves. Racism. Man tried to take my life. And you still couldn't turn it up a notch. You still didn't have common sense to add more to your arsenal so you'll be better prepared. So what I'm saying is, from his losses, he went back into the same exact fighter. But because he goes for the knockout, that's enough for you guys to feel confident that he can win. So just what I'm saying. AJ land that big right hand on his chin, he can be asleep as well. No, Wilder doesn't have no iron fucking chin. Bullshit. And he also is the guy that said Fury had pillows for fists, but he got knocked out by him. And yeah, that money shot in that last fight was one punch, and he was out. And then sat on the stool when Fury went to shake his hand and told him he didn't respect him. Just to end up seeing him in Dubois and smiled and gave him a hug. Then went right back to saying he can't stand him. He hate him, and basically he's going to go to his grave. Yeah, he said this again just recently, knowing Fury's a cheater. He can't stand him. The only reason that he hugged him, embraced him, was because they were in Dubois. What that mean? Because you was in Dubois, you didn't have to respond to Fury. What's Fury going to do if you don't respond to him? Do something and get himself arrested? Making a scene? You wasn't there for Fury, right? So that's nothing but an excuse. So what I'm saying, seeing him get dropped by this guy, seeing him get dropped by Harold Stronger, seeing the things that happened to him, that all of a sudden these videos disappear, is a reason for that. And part of that reason affects a lot of what people think, because see, you can pull up videos of anybody having a bad night. Just when it comes to Wilder, oh, it wasn't a bad night because of the Fury fight, because Fury was a better fighter. Fury cheated, that's why it was a bad night. See, that's the narrative that y'all want to go with. So, in this video, what I just showed you guys, this is what I've been telling you from the very beginning. Perception misleads a lot of people. Now, that was a grazing shot. It was a jab on top of that caught him in the temple, and it was a delayed reaction, and he went back. And, you know, whether the referee thought he lost his balance and just attributed to that, no, and the angle, the ref body was kind of black, but you can see in the slow motion, it caught him in the temple. Knocked his equilibrium off, he lost his balance. It's not like he was out or nothing like that, but it was still a knockdown. And he got caught by this Andy Ruiz looking guy. But I was told it never happened. Yeah, that never happened. I just couldn't remember the guy's name. And what the guy had, 4 wins, 11 losses? Yeah. And this was Wilder fighting this guy. Now, when you say something never happened and then you get proven wrong, don't start with the but, though. Because when you start a sentence with but, and you're never supposed to start it. You all been to school, right? You don't start a sentence with the word but. If you start a sentence with but, you're making an excuse for what you just saw. Which I don't care personally, but see, this is why I don't respond and really interact with people who are ignorant like that. Wilder has many, many, many flaws and weaknesses. I would love to see him and AJ had a fight. Whoever wins, wins. What I'm saying, and I'm not afraid of being wrong. What I'm saying, AJ has every much as a chance of knocking him out. In fact, I'm going with AJ to beat Wilder. I don't need to do this. I'm not doing it. I don't care about that. Now, am I guaranteeing you he's going to win? No. Like I said, I cannot and will never, or I guarantee that. No. I'm going with him to beat him. Not just because I want him to win. He's better than Wilder overall. And there's only one way Wilder can win. So, yeah. I know if I was training AJ, I know what I would have him doing. And either he's going to accept and understand, okay, he knows what he's talking about, and this is going to benefit me. Or he's going to be too soft to do what I need him to do, and I'm going to let him know about that shit. And either it's going to work or we're going to part ways. But I'm certainly not going to stand up there and allow you to think that what you're doing is working, is going to work in your favor if I feel differently, to see that, nah, that's not working in your best interest. And so that's the whole thing. It's just basically helping him to do what he's already known how to do. Getting his confidence back and his understanding, his common sense. Wake up. This is what you need to do. It's either you're going to do it or you're not going to do it. Just like any other job, right? You have to troubleshoot. There's things that you have to figure out to make things happen. How many jobs have you worked at? Huh? How many jobs have you taken and they tell you must be able to work with minimal supervision, which means that even in that ring, in the corner, Derek James got you covered, but in that ring, you got to figure things out. When you're doing film study, all this stuff, in between fights, you understand this is what you're doing. That's why I said every fighter should study their own fights and see what they're doing. You can do something and get away with it your whole career. And then all of a sudden you run into that one person that it doesn't work against. And usually when you fight elite guys, that's the ones that let you know that's not going to work here. And the truly great fighters will be able to adjust and adapt. So my thing, what I'm saying is, you guys that keep acting like Wilder is some vastly improved fighter, are lying to yourselves. Even when you see him training with Malik Scott and he's hopping up and down them little chicken stick legs, hitting foam sticks and all these little weird movement, you don't even see him do that in the actual real fight. Which is why I say you're wasting your time doing things that you can't do in the ring. You know how I hit a speed bag? You know how everybody stands in front of the speed bag and do it this way? I hit the speed bag as if I'm punching in my fighting stance. Why? Because if I'm in a fight, I'm not standing here with my hands like this. You understand what I'm saying? So I do it differently. I can do it either way, but I prefer to do it differently, like from a fighting stance. You know how many people have been hitting the speed bag for years, the traditional way, and they can't do it the way I do it? Because they're just not used to it. It's like the hand position is just different to them. Wait, how do you catch it from? Yeah, exactly. I don't hit the heavy bag the way everybody else does it because they're trying to do it to look impressive for the cameras for people to go, yo, you see height. No. Now in a real fight, are you putting your punches together that same way? No. Now when it's an endurance thing and it's a stamina thing and you're working at that, I get that too. But it's a difference in the mindset, the muscle memory, and how you approach something. It's just people do things differently. Anything that you're doing in that ring just to do it because the cameras are rolling, but in an actual fight, you can't do those things, is a waste of time to me. And you do all these things, it looks different in training, but then when you get in the ring, same old stuff. What's the purpose? So, just wanted to share that with y'all and let y'all see that, yeah, if I tell you something happened, it happened because I saw it. Certain videos, like, you notice, for example, Greg Page dropped Mike Tyson in sparring. That video you can still find. You can't find the one with Oliver McCall dropping him. You can see the one with him and Oliver McCall sparring. But you don't see it when he got dropped. It's sparring. It happens. Many fighters get dropped in sparring. You don't get to see the video, but you can't find the Oliver McCall footage where he drops Mike Tyson. And I can tell you exactly how it happened. Mike was coming in. He did a little hop step. He ripped his right to the body. He did like a little dip when he came in. Oliver stepped back. Bam! You seen Mike go down. It was quick. It's not like Mike was rolling all over the floor, but it was quick. He went down, kind of sat there for a second, stood up, and then yeah. And it was the same session. But what I'm saying is, why can't you find that footage? It's not my fault that it's gone. Yeah. And at some point, you're not going to be able to find the Greg Page footage. That's just the way it goes. When Sugar Ray Leonard got dropped in sparring in preparation for Marvin Hagler, that footage was up for a couple of months. You can't find that anymore. You might still be able to find Thomas Hearns versus Aaron Pryor in their amateur fight. You might still be able to find that. But yeah, you can't find the footage of Sugar Ray getting dropped anymore in sparring. He got knocked out. You can't find it. It's not my fault. So what we just saw, again, for people running their mouth saying that something never happened, when I tell you that if I tell you that I saw something, it happened. If I tell you rumor has it or I've heard, then I don't know. I'm just telling you what's being said. I did a video about Manny Pacquiao being sued by Paradigm. And when I heard that, I wasn't going to do a video about that if I didn't get information about it. So when I pulled the information up, I read it to you guys so you can hear what was going on. And the focus was not so much that of him being sued, but the fact that, okay, I know that legitimately he has been sued and lost this $8 million lawsuit. So now I can do a video about this because I have the information. Otherwise, if I don't have the information, what am I talking about? Right? So when I did the video was based on the fact that, you know, he's always having words about Floyd and saying Floyd scared to death to fight him again and all this nonsense. And, you know, just kicking dirt on his name and how he, you know, say that he don't like Floyd because Floyd beat on women, all this crazy stuff and stuff that we don't even know actually happened or how it went down. And anybody who's been in a relationship know a woman can try to make you look like the worst person in the world. But yet, wait, you never heard Manny say the same thing about Mike Tyson, right? And he was accused of rape and went to jail for it for 4 years. And he took pictures and hugged Mike Tyson up, right? Okay, so you never hear him say this same stuff about Mike. You see what I mean? So we're selective with, oh, who's a bad guy, who's not. Manny Pacquiao himself is no saint. He cheated on his wife. He committed adultery. And he's supposed to be a holy man. Okay? We always say all politicians lie. He's also a politician. So what, is he exceptional to the rule? He may have a nice personality and all that, smile and seem like a nice guy, whatever. That doesn't make him flawless. That doesn't mean he don't have his wrong. So my whole thing was like, you degraded Floyd's name, you kick dirt on his name, and it's not because it's Floyd. If it's anybody for that matter. But what I'm saying, we know the history and the ins and outs of what him and Floyd, how this fight was built up and things that was happening. So now all of a sudden, you are in debt and you need to raise some money, huh? And then basically, now you want to take any turn Floyd Mayweather want. So the same person whose name you're kicking dirt on, you need a favor now. You understand? And so now all of a sudden, now you want to make it public that you want to have a fight with Floyd now because, yeah, and now you're not saying things about his name like you was because you need a favor. Now, that's not dirty. You tell me what is. Oh, I need you now. So I take back those things I said. No. So that's what I do. I don't just hear something and, oh, let me talk. No, I do my homework on things. So we just seen what happened with Wilder after I was told that never happened. Yeah. So anyway, talk to me in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.